Hello everybody, my name is Heather and today is January wrap-up. I read 4 individual books and I only really liked one. If you've watched my reviews up until this point, you already know which one it is, and my favorite of the month is The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Even through the predictability, it was my favorite. It was also the last book I read, so the review may not be up for this one yet. I haven't decided the order I'm going to upload the video, if I'm going to upload this one first or the review. So the review will be coming if it's not up. If it is already up, hopefully you watched it. But yes, this one was my favorite. I rated it a 4 to 4.5 because it was predictable. But other than that, if it didn't follow the Chinese drama plot devices almost to a T, and there were more twists in it that weren't as predictable, I probably would have given it a 5, but still I enjoyed it because the main character, she was strong and independent but sweet, and even though she didn't like people, she would still be kind to them, or kind of kind. If you want to read the book. I enjoyed it. It is a 500-page book. Yeah, it's about 500 pages. It took me about 2 weeks, about a week and a half to read, because I only have like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours before bedtime to really sit down and read. And I don't even get to read every single day sometimes. Like on Thursday, my husband and I have date night where we pop popcorn, watch a movie together, and spend some one-on-one time together. I don't get a chance to read that night because that is my night to spend with my husband. So I enjoyed this book. The other 3 books, on the other hand, I wasn't too thrilled with them. The first book I read this year, and it was kind of this year and kind of in that weird in between week between Christmas and New Year, and I saw it on Instagram, and it was, I guess, Bookstagram. It was, a lot of people had suggested it and said that it was really good, and so I got it and I read it, and I did not like it at all. And so I didn't even say anything about it whenever I first started doing reviews and talking about it, because for one, I actually started it in December, but I finished it like on January 2nd, I think it was, and I just didn't want my first review to be bad. But my first review ended up being bad anyway because it was on the book Hazard, and it ended up being bad anyway, which kind of stinks. So I should have thought that out a little better, but I didn't. So here we are. The second book I read was The Bear and the Nightingale, and I had high hopes for this one. I heard that it was really, really good, and I heard that it was slow paced, so to be prepared for that. And so I was prepared for the slow pace. And I actually don't mind slow paced books, but I did not like how, well, at first I was angry because I didn't realize this was a series. I thought this was just a one book. And so whenever it got to the end, I was so mad because there were so many questions that were not answered at all. And so I Googled it and realized and found out that it was actually a series, which made me even more mad because I'm like, I didn't care for this book. I don't want to invest any more time into the other parts of the series. This book was okay. I think I gave this one a 3-star. I don't know if I would recommend it. I would tell people that it was a decent book. It was an okay book. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. The other book that I read, I didn't like. I'd probably give it like a 1.5 to 2 stars, and I would not recommend that one. I don't even think I said the title, and I'm probably not going to unless you ask me for it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So this one is, I think it was 3 stars. It was an okay book. I got mad because I felt like the ending was rushed and the author didn't really know where she wanted to take the book. I wanted more. I wanted more things fleshed out at the end, like she fleshed out the beginning of the book. I liked how everything was fleshed out and the characters were fleshed out and the siblings and their bond was there, and you saw the father who was mad and everything because the father was mad at Vasilisa, which is the main character, because he felt like she took his wife away because the wife died during childbirth of Vasilisa. And so he didn't really care for her, didn't want to have much to do with her until, she kind of grew on him and he ended up loving her. And they have a very weird relationship, but you do see he does care for her and does love her. And I did enjoy watching those relationships evolve and into just, they became very beautiful. And I felt like the ending was so rushed through that it kind of negates the whole slow pace and the just building of the world and the characters, and it just felt so hollow. It really did. And so that's why I gave that one 3 stars. Now, for this last book, it is probably very, very unpopular opinion. I don't know, all the reviews that I've watched on this have really enjoyed it. So I may need to go back through and look at more reviews for this, but I did not enjoy this book. This book made me angry, and I was kind of grossed out with some of the characters and creeped out by some of the characters because they just didn't, it was just, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and reveal it. It is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I gave this one a 2 or 2.5 star. I think it was 2. Because the main character was just kind of so-so. She was just kind of wishy-washy and didn't really agree or disagree with anything, didn't really do anything, didn't choose to do anything unless it was out of guilt or because she felt like or because of the deal that she made. So I didn't really care for the main character. Things were very predictable. There were scenes in it that were just like, what was the point of this being in here? Why did you waste pages putting this part in here? Because it's just, I'm just gonna look up reviews on the next book just to find out what happens. I'm not going to waste my time reading the next book because I have very limited time reading, and I'm not going to waste it on something that I don't enjoy. And then I feel very angry because none of the characters really had any chemistry together. None of the love interests for Evangeline, I almost said Vasilisa, that's the other book. Evangeline, none of the love interests really had any chemistry with her. And it was just all kind of there for me. I did not realize that this was actually an offshoot of another series. So maybe that's why I don't really care for the characters. But Jax kind of was just ew most of the time. I was not thrilled with it. So that is my wrap up for January. If you have any questions, I probably made a lot of people angry with my opinions on Once Upon a Broken Heart. The review should be up by now, so you can go watch that if you want to. If you're interested in knowing everything that made me angry about that book, or that confused me, or just why I was confused about some things being in there when I don't really see why, unless they would be a plot device somewhere in the next book or two. Like, I don't understand. Anyway, I'm just not going to go any more into that. Anyway, the review should be up, so you can go watch that one. And this is all that I've read for January. I did not read the first book of the Wingfeather Saga, which is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, because my kids decided they want to read that with me, and so I think they will really like that. We enjoyed The Great Ember together, and so I'm going to hold off reading that until I can read it with them, and I'm excited to do so. But yeah, that's all I have for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. And please don't be so mad at me for my opinion on Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'll see you all next time. Bye.